10 countries that fought for years but are now friends. 1. Mexico and the United States. The US and Mexico fought 2 wars. The first was the 2-year Mexican-American War. It began with Mexico's refusal to recognize the American annexation of Texas. The US declared war in 1846. By 1848, 1,733 American and 5,000 Mexican soldiers had been killed. There were thousands more civilian casualties. The war ended with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Mexico ceded large parts of its territory to the U.S. Between 1910 and 1919, another war broke out. Known as the Mexican Border War, it was spurred by the Mexican Revolution. In 1916, the U.S. Army invaded Mexico to capture Pancho Villa. Today, Mexico does not align itself with the U.S. militarily, but the U.S. is its biggest trading partner. 2. Japan and the United States. In December 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Thus began a bitter and bloody conflict. In 1945, the U.S. dropped 2 nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Afterward, it subjected Japan to a 7-year-long occupation. It dismantled the Japanese military. However, Japan has emerged as one of America's biggest allies. The 2 countries enjoy a robust economic relationship. They also cooperate in matters of defense. 3. Poland and Ukraine. The 2 countries have a long history of bitter conflicts. In 1918, they fought an all-out war. Poland and Ukraine were successor states to the Russian and Austrian empires. The war started in eastern Galicia and spilled over into Kulm and Volhynia. Poland reoccupied the disputed territory in 1919. During World War II, parts of Poland were occupied by the Soviet Union. Ukrainian nationalists fought against the Soviets, but some of them also committed atrocities against Poles. This is still a touchy subject in Polish-Ukrainian relations. However, Kiev and Warsaw have put their differences aside. Poland is now Ukraine's largest ally in the European Union. 4. Russia and Turkey. The 1700s were a turning point in the Russo-Ottoman relationship. Under Catherine the Great, Russia scored several strategic victories. The Russo-Turkish War of 1768 to 1774 was bloody, but Russia emerged in control of the northern part of the Black Sea. In 1783, it seized Crimea from the Ottomans. This was the first time the Ottoman Empire lost Muslim subjects to a Christian state. Another important episode was the Russian conquest of the Caucasus. In the early 1800s, 1 million Caucasus Muslims migrated to Turkey. They were fleeing the Russians. The Soviets also pressured Turkey after World War II. Stalin wanted control over the Turkish Straits. Turkey became an American ally and joined NATO in 1952, but the Russo-Turkish relations have improved since then. Today, Turkey is a rare NATO member that remains cordial with Russia. It benefits from discounted Russian fossil fuels. Turkey has not sanctioned Russia over the war in Ukraine. 5. France and England. The UK and France have a very long history of rivalry. It included plenty of wars, conquests, alliances, and coups. It began when the Plantagenets fought the Capets for French lands. This culminated in the 100 Years' War. France won, expelling the English from the mainland, but rivalry continued, spilling over to French and British colonies. But when the Napoleonic Wars ended in 1815, that was it. France and Britain haven't had a major conflict since then. Of course, there's been plenty of suspicion and mistrust, but London and Paris are aligned on most issues today.